Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, family and friends. It's Saturday morning. I'm not much into college football, so I figure I'd take this time to do a quick debate update from the vice presidential debate. Remember what I told you? J.D. Vance was going to say something, and he did not let me down, okay? As cordial as that debate was, they were relatively cordial with one another. Some good questions, some good answers. They even agreed with each other on a few things along the way. But near the end, Tim Walz asked him, he said, "Do you think that Donald Trump lost the last election?" Got him. That was it. All the goodwill, all the good points that he had made, he lost in that moment. He lost the debate. When he said, I don't really I don't really think about the past. I want to focus on the future. Oh no. Didn't let him off the hook that easy. Came right back around and asked him again, do you think Trump lost? Would you have done would you be the type of vice president that did what Mike Pence did and uphold the Constitution? Well, I don't like to think about the past. I want to focus on the future. He was stuck. He was in the spin cycle. He was tap dancing. He didn't know what to do. He was done. He was cooked at that point. I knew J.D. Vance was not going to let me down. Got him. Anyway, moving on. Some of you are probably wondering why I'm wearing a Terrell Owens jersey, because everybody knows I don't really like Terrell Owens. I have owned this jersey probably about 15 years, and this is the first time I've ever worn it. I got this jersey as part of a bet with a friend of mine who I talked to last night on the phone. He's a Steelers fan, okay? We bet first time we worked together and the Cowboys were playing the Steelers. Whoever's team loses, you got to wear the other team's jersey the rest of the week. So I bought this jersey, and just to let you know, this is the first time I've ever worn it, okay? Now, we were talking last night, and he's a cool cat. And he was a Trump supporter. Voted for him twice. He voted for Trump in 2016 and 2020. So like when I say not all Trump supporters are not bad, this is one of the good ones, okay? We were talking, and he says to me, I don't really, he said, G, he calls me G. He says, you're the only Cowboy fan that I even associate with. And I was like, well, you're one of the only Trump supporters that I associate with. He says, well, I'm not a Trump supporter anymore. I was like, well, you voted for him twice. What's the deal? And he said, the reason he's no longer a Trump supporter, brace yourselves, because this one kind of hit me. This one kind of got me in a gut punch. He said the reason that he is not a Trump supporter anymore is because he realized that Trump supporters, chokes me up a little bit of saying it. He said Trump supporters, the reason he's not a Trump supporter anymore is because Trump supporters are like Dallas Cowboy fans. He didn't have to explain. He didn't have to go into detail. I understood exactly what he meant by that. Didn't like it. Not one bit. But he followed it up. And he said, G, but that's why you and I get along, because you can be a Cowboy fan, but you don't like their leadership. You don't like Jerry Jones, you don't like the coach, and you can admit when they're screwing up and doing something wrong. And he said, that's where he's at, because he's a conservative Republican and he loves conservatism and he loves Republicans, but he doesn't like the leadership. He can't stand Donald Trump anymore, and he doesn't like the direction that leader is taking his party. He is admitting when they are messing up. That was a very profound statement. So when you're wondering why there are certain Republicans that are jumping off the Trump train, that's why. And it when he said it like that, it made perfect sense. Clarity. Crazy like Cowboy fan. All right. In other news, the hurricane that hit us last week has finally passed, and they're doing cleanup. I know that Lord Voldemort, Trump has been doing, I don't know what you call them, photo ops or whatever, where he's in Georgia and North Carolina, 2 swing states. 2 questions. 1, has he donated a single dollar to any relief efforts? I haven't heard that he has. I know he sponsored a GoFundMe page, but has he donated anything? I haven't heard that he has. Has he even visited any place in his home state of Florida? Or is he just going to swing states for photo ops? I haven't heard of him being in Florida anywhere. I don't know. Just things that make you go, okay. Now, the election's getting closer, and they are getting more and more desperate. I am telling you, he is going to take the money and run. How do I know this? He is ramping up his sales of the Trump Bible, which not only has his signature, but he's also added the Declaration of Independence and the Pledge of Allegiance to the King James Version of the Bible. Is that sacrilegious? Am I crazy when I say that? Isn't that some sort of blasphemy to sign it and add to the Bible things that are not God's word? I don't know. I mean, I'm Christian, but I'm not a pastor, so I can't really say one way or another. But in my mind, it sounds like it's blasphemous. He's also selling a Trump commemorative statue, commemorative from when he was grazed in the ear at that rally. Now, keep in mind, the Trump Bible and the Trump statue, the last time I checked, you can only get it on MAGA sites. You can't go to Walmart. You can only get them on MAGA sites. And they are back ordered to like January or later. So you're paying for these items that you can't even see before January. And what do you think is going to happen if and when he doesn't win the election and he exit stage left out of the country? You think you're still going to get those? Or did you just give him vacation money to leave the country with? Things that make you go, Speaking of the attempt on Trump, there's 1 or 2, depending on how you look at it. Just something I was thinking about this morning. When Lincoln was shot, who was the guy that shot Lincoln? John Wilkes Booth. When Kennedy was shot, Lee Harvey Oswald. When, in more recent times, George Floyd, what was the name of that officer? It was Derek Chauvin. And who was that kid in Kenosha, Wisconsin that shot protesters? Kyle Rittenhouse. Do you remember the name of the guy that shot at Reagan? I mean, I was alive back then. I remember. It was John Hinckley. So just 2 months ago, less than 6 months ago, what was the name of the guy that shot at Trump? I don't know his name, that kid. I don't know his name. Maybe they didn't release his name because he's a minor. What about the one that was at the golf course? I'm sure I could look it up and find it, but I don't know it off the top of my head like I do John Wilkes Booth or Lee Harvey Oswald. I find that interesting. And I'm wondering if Trump supporters know the name of that guy off the top of their head. Was it that important? Just curiosity, just something to think about. Anyway, I'll let you get back to your Saturday. That's my video, and y'all have a good day.